Simon, this is such an intense and intriguing film. Where did the concept come from?
Wait, well, Walt Disney made the character. No, I'm joking. I shouldn't start by saying that, sure, for sure. Thank you, Jamie, anyway, for taking the time to talk to me. Where it came from is I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago they made a Winnie-the-Pooh horror movie called Blood and Honey, which was a great idea. Maybe not a great movie, but certainly a great idea. And I heard that they were bringing Mickey Mouse into public domain. So I was like, we should do something with that with Mickey Mouse. And people were like, well, Winnie the Pooh is one thing, but Mickey Mouse, are you sure? And I was like, no, I'm not sure, but it's a bit of a gamble. But if it works, man, it would be wonderful. And here we are.
It's also a bit of Friday Night at Freddy's as well with
For
the
sure. One of my favorites there, yes. I mean, I like the idea of being trapped in an arcade with something dangerous because an arcade is supposed to be like, well, it's a play area. It's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be fun. So taking something safe and fun and making it scary is a bit like what we're doing to Mickey Mouse. Something that's fun and safe, we're turning into something dangerous.
was there any hesitation then? It doesn't sound like that and using Mickey for escape.
Well, the hesitation was all for. I mean, I didn't hesitate. All the lawyers hesitate. That's what we pay them to do. Sort of. So there was a lot of people that wanted to see the movie just to make sure that we observed it. So I should start by saying, like, Disney still owns Mickey Mouse, the what you and I would think Mickey Mouse is, but we're talking about the 1928 Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse, the original guy. So when we came to make our movie, we had to make sure that he looked like that guy. So he's black and white, sort of. He's got no eyes, sort of. He has no eyebrows. He looks a certain way. So so that we're using the right version of Mickey Mouse. So yeah, I mean, other than making sure that he looked like that iteration of Mickey Mouse, the original iteration of Mickey Mouse, no, we had no doubt at all. Because in my mind, it was something wonderful to do because you could make something a childhood iconic character like Mickey. You could make him something evil, and that would be kind of fun to see where that goes.
Were you always in mind then to play Mickey?
Oh yeah. When I came up with this idea, I was like, "There's only one thing I want, and it's to be the guy that wears the mask." And they're like, they were like, "Oh well, I'm an actor, right, Jimmy?" So they were like, "Well, you won't have your face seen, like we won't know it's you. It could be anybody in the mask." And you're like, "It could be, but I would like it to be me." And let me tell you, wearing the mask is not fun. Those things are not designed to be worn all day. So I regretted my decision instantly, but 3 weeks after we started, it was a bit too late to change it then. So,
As writer, producer, and now star of the movie, how involved were you in the casting?
I didn't get too involved in the casting. We had like a local casting agent. It was filmed in Ottawa, in Canada. So Lisa Muser was a casting director on it. So she recommended because we needed younger faces. So these were kids. Well, they're not kids. Sorry, the 21-year-olds. The kids relatively. I'm not 21. Believe it or not, Jamie, I'm not 21. Uh, I'm a little older than that. I'm 22. So
You've had one
22 and a
more year
half.
of life
22 and a half.
experience. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I've lived outside a lot. No, so they were all unknown to me. Like I didn't know who they were. It's not like they're big reels or they've done other movies before. A few of these guys, it's their first movie. So we had to depend on the casting director to get us a good bunch of actors, and she did. Sort of, that was good fun. Sort of to be their first movie. It's not mine, and it's not Jamie's the director. So yeah, it was good to throw them in the deep end.
How did Jamie come on board to this as director?
So Jamie Bailey, wonderful director, a friend of mine. We've done many movies together already. So when I had the idea to do the movie, which was in September in 2023, I knew that we had a deadline ahead of us that we had to be ready by January 1st, 2024, to have the trailer ready. So we had to film the movie and everything before then, and we had to drop a trailer because that's the cool bit of what it would be. And it was like if we drop the trailer on the very first day that Mickey comes into public domain, then we'll look like geniuses, sort of. That's the idea. that was the plan, and that was what we did. So when I was telling Jamie about it, I was asking him basically to come with me on this crazy adventure, and he did. He jumped on board straight away, and he was like, "Okay, let's do this." And then we just had to find a location. So we found an arcade that would let us film there, and then I wrote the script after I got the location because it changed how the story would be. But once I knew where it was going to film, I could go, "Oh, well, this guy's going to get something's going to happen to him on the roller coaster, and this girl is going to get something's going to happen to her in the laser tag room. Like each room and each bit of the arcade meant a different bit of the story.
Talk about filming in the arcade. Were there challenges that came up from shooting in various rooms that you didn't expect?
Arcades are very noisy. Which obviously when you're in an arcade doesn't really matter, but when we're filming, it actually has to be complete silence. Sort of when we're actually filming. So we had to work out, which took a long time on the first day, how to keep all the machines on, but all the noise off. So in the arcade, we were working with the people that work there again. We want all the lights from it and all the twinkly lights in the background and stuff like that. We want it all on. We just don't want it to make noise. So they had to go around and work out how to they're all computers, right? So they just had to work out how to turn the volume off. But they've obviously never had to do it before because arcades are noisy and they don't mind it being noisy because you're in an arcade.
We talked about filming under that mask as well. Was there any challenges for you physically when you're
Yeah,
filming?
this bloody thing. It's not meant for. So this mask was designed for like not a person to wear, but like a mannequin. Like you didn't something you need. You didn't. We had to cut a hole where the mouth was, so that would be able to breathe. But the mask is very thick. It's rubber, a rubber mask. So it makes it quite durable. But even then, we broke it because it rips and it tears and stuff like that. But the challenge, 100%, Jamie, was breathing. Which is quite important as a human. And especially during fight sequences or killing people, sort of the more you exert yourself, the more you need to breathe. So yeah, it was very exciting. I had to keep like lifting it up because I would get sweaty underneath it and it like stick to you because it's rubber, and you'd have to keep like just literally peeling it up halfway so I could just like take a breather, like a proper breath halfway through and then roll it down again, sort of, and keep going. You wouldn't want to be claustrophobic doing this. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Were you regretting wearing a jumper, the sweater at that time as well?
Yes, it was all quite. It was all unpleasant. So we knew what it had to look like. I mean, I was there, kind of pushing forward the look as well, and it's also incredibly hard to see out of it. So because he has the guy has a big nose here, so I can't really see anything underneath me. So I'm encouraging Jamie to release like a blooper reel of all the times I trip over stuff or hit. I'm looking quite badass, and then I turn around and like bump into an arcade machine or something. Sort of. There's a bunch of that stuff that they just cut out for the movie. So yeah.
Were you involved in when the choreography came to sort of working out the scenes where they are getting killed and where all of that running and everything is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Jamie would sort of set the scene up, and I would, some of it was driven by what I could and couldn't do. Sort of as like, I mean, I couldn't run after a character in the movie. Sort of. So I was like, if ever they wanted him to do that, he wouldn't run, but anyway, he would like walk after them, like as in sort of slowly, like, and that's where the he could teleport came from as well. It's like, we like the idea that he could just vanish from one place and then reappear in another. It also made it that easier to do because getting me from one side of the room to the other side of the room would be, it's convincing I can't see where I'm walking. So it's like, unless I know it's a straight line and nothing's in front of me, it would look silly.
I love the meta references where you guys are going, yeah, he says he's gonna be right back. He's definitely gonna die. Was that important for you to
It
include?
was. So I'm an 80s baby, right, Jamie? Despite being 22. Sorry, I may have lied about that earlier. An 80s baby. So I like the 90s slasher films, like I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream. I tell you why I like Scream, because it was the first movie that started to sort of wink and nudge to the camera. Like it kind of made pop culture references and it was aware of itself. Um, And one of the things in Scream is the guy saying, I'll be right back. And it's like, yeah, you never say I'll be right back in a horror movie, sort of, because you're definitely dead. So I like, to me, I like that wink and nudge to the camera, sort of. But that's basically my love of 90s slasher movies. And if you watch this movie, I was make sure that we got rid of cell phones. I was like, we find a way to get rid of the people having cell phones, and then they're trapped in one place. So now it's properly, you should feel that sort of retro thing because it's in the arcade and stuff like that. So to me, that I like that type of movie.
What's your favorite scene that translated so well from script to screen?
Sort of, I like lots of lots of the stuff I do like. One of the more impressive things I liked was when the girl is Muriel is on her the VR game, so she's on the thing, so she's effectively blind, and Mickey's quite near her, and he's kind of working out. He obviously can't work out that she can't see him, which is kind of good because Mickey doesn't know what that is, that she's playing a VR game. He doesn't understand it because he's from 1928. So he just, he doesn't understand the game she's playing. So I quite liked it to me, and it was kind of creepy that every time she took it off, he all of a sudden wasn't there. Sort of. So that's just that little sequence of events I thought played out wonderfully. So it was a bit of an editing and filming trick by Jamie, but I quite liked it.
Is it meant to be vague as to whether the mask sort of enchants you or if there's this psychopathy to the person you're?
So the way that I read it, right, sort of, and the way that I guess I thought about it was that Mickey jumps out, Steamboat Willie's Mickey Mouse jumps out of the screen and possesses the body of the manager of the my character, the manager of the arcade, and then just goes on this rampage afterwards. Sort of because he has this newfound freedom, and he was trapped for 95 years. So it's like being trapped has driven him crazy, and that's what I thought. And I don't know if that's right or not, but it definitely I viewed it like a demonic possession.
You wrote the script, wouldn't you know if that's right?
Well, that's I mean, what we did and what you interpreted it as is two, because we don't definitively tell you. Nobody's there explaining the science behind it, sort of going, well, I think what happened to him was that, nobody's doing that. So it's whether if you interpreted it like that, then good, and if you didn't, then we messed up probably.
How did you all shake off a long day of being on set? You especially from being in the mask all day, from being in that jumper.
Well,
How did you decompress after sort of making this incredible movie?
well, it was. I would tell you this as well. It was night shoots because what we did was so when we got the arcade, which is Fun Haven in Ottawa in Canada. When we got that building, we agreed to film at night. So we started filming at 9 o'clock at night when it closed, and then we went through till 8 o'clock in the morning, and we just kept doing that for a couple of weeks. So shaking it off was real easy because you're really tired at the end of that a night shoot, so you're exhausted. So there's nothing like, I mean, for me, it was my routine is like get out of the goddamn costume and get a shower straight away, and then by the time that's happened, I'm just dead, because the temptation is you should.
Knackered at that point.
Yeah, you should as well. When you're on night shoots, I always do this as well. People go, you have to sleep during the day. So sleep during the day, and then that you'll be up at night. And obviously, for the first couple of days, you don't do that. Sort of your body wants to wake up in the day. Just naturally, it feels like it should wake up. So you do wake up. You sleep for 3 or 4 hours, but then you get up at 1 o'clock, and you shouldn't. You should keep sleeping. And I didn't do that. So yeah, it gets real long shoots real quickly. But that was when we had to do it. So.
I think this is going to be a fast fan favorite horror flick because you don't know that there is that vague aspect to Mickey, but also every single vignette to this has a different heart palpable moment to it where you don't know what's happening, but you also want to save these little kid, they're not these 21-year-old human
Not kids. Remember,
adults.
Jamie, we discussed this at the beginning. Can't
Yes.
really say that anymore.
With these teenagers.
Yeah.
You've invested in at least Alex.
Yeah, well, I think the audience should be rooting for Alex in some way. Maybe not everybody else, but Alex and her love interest, I believe, are sort of interesting, sort of characters. Sort of as in the audience heart. I hope.
What's next for you, Simon? Have you been busy working on any other projects, writing any other projects?
Yeah, I did. We just dropped the trailer. I don't know why they dropped this trailer now. I'm sure somebody will be able to tell me this. But they just released the trailer for a Christmas horror movie that we did, and they released that trailer in July. I'm not sure when they did that, but say, they where it's called Silent Bite, and it's a sort of it's about a bunch of bank robbers that rob a bank on Christmas Eve, and they hold up in a motel just because they got to lay low for a night. But also in the motel are a bunch of rather attractive female vampires, so it becomes a bit of a boys versus girls thing. And I'm sure in boys versus girls who loses in that one. But it's an interesting fight, and it's a Christmas horror movie. It won't be out till November, but they dropped the trailer just the other day called Silent Night, so do check that one out too when you have a minute.
What would you like to say to people who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you do on our screens?
Well, keep watching because otherwise, I have to get a normal job, Jamie, and I don't know what that looks like. I don't. I think I'm too much of a big kid. Like, let's remember, like my actual brother, like he's in the army and stuff like that. He does like a real job, and my other brother's a carpenter. And if I'm here at every Christmas when I go home to my family and stuff like that, and we sit around the Christmas dinner table. They all do real jobs, and Simon plays. This year they were like, "You played Mickey Mouse. You played dress up for a living. Sort of. So don't do a real job." And I was like, "Yes, that's true." What I would say to people that keep are watching me and are supporters of me, please keep watching. Otherwise, I have to get a real job. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what job that would be. I couldn't. I don't think I'd be good at anything, Jamie. I think if somebody employed me to work in the grocery store, like to stock shelves at night, when they come in the morning, I wouldn't have stocked any of the shelves. I'd just have made a huge fort or something, sort of out of. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't have. They'd be like, "You're fired," and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah,
Been on the loudspeaker the whole time.
yeah," like narrating my own thing. I'm going, "Oh my God, this is incredible!" Like I'd have wasted the entire night, and they were like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know, just yeah." Just my imagination ran away with me, and I just built a fort, really. You know,
Well, family dinner wouldn't be as fun because they wouldn't have you to poke fun at either.
exactly. That's my value to the whole family dynamic. You know what? Jamie, I'm going to need you to call my mother and father and tell them that, okay? Just in case
You have a
they
purpose
don't
now.
appreciate me one year.